In Lesson 3.1, you're going to learn about some different types of line relationships, and we're going to talk about some angles that are formed whenever lines intersect and what kind of relationship those lines have. So, to start, a few terms that you probably already are familiar with. Parallel lines. They are coplanar lines that do not intersect. And the symbol for parallel is two slash marks. Perpendicular are lines that form a right angle, or you could say a 90-degree angle. The symbol for perpendicular is an upside down T. Skew lines are neither parallel nor perpendicular. They are non-coplanar, they're not parallel, and they do not intersect. There's not a symbol for skew lines, but we'll talk about skew lines here in just a minute. And then the other thing we're going to talk about will be parallel planes. They would be two planes that do not intersect. And again, the symbol for parallel are the two slash marks. All right, so if we have this picture over here, it looks like a box, but each side of that box represents a plane. And think about that, every one of those sides extending beyond just that box. For example, if we have this little segment A to B, you can actually think about that extending forever and ever in both directions. So it's not just a segment, but it's a line that goes forever and ever. So each side of that box goes forever and ever and is a different plane. So we can talk about in this picture some parallel lines that are lines that don't intersect. So if I talk about line AB, okay, I could say that it's parallel to line CD because those two lines would never intersect. Okay? It's also going to be parallel to line EF back here. Okay? They're going the same direction, never intersect. And even though HG is on the bottom, it would be parallel to that one also. All of those lines that I drew would be parallel to each other. All right, perpendicular, form a right angle. So if I go back to my AB, line AB, okay, what would be perpendicular to it? Now, it's hard to tell in a three-dimensional shape, but there's probably a right angle here. So line AD would be perpendicular to line AB. There are other places that are perpendicular. Every one of those corners, every one of those lines that intersect would represent a pair of perpendicular lines. All right, now skew lines. This is one where they're neither parallel nor perpendicular. So if I'm talking about AB again, this line, a line that will never cross it would be maybe EH, because even when I draw it on paper, it looks like maybe those are going to cross, but they're in different planes. AB is in the front and close to me, and it's like going horizontally, and EH is in the back. It's further away, it's behind it, but it's going vertically. So those two lines would be skew lines. AB is skew to EH. So there's a whole bunch of different lines that would be skew in that drawing. And then lastly, parallel planes are planes that do not intersect. And remember, we use 3 letters to name a plane. So a couple of planes that do not intersect If I talk about the top of the box, if we talk about this plane that goes through those 3 points, I could call it plane. I only need 3 of the letters, AFB. I could say that it's parallel to plane. Well, it would be parallel to the plane on the bottom. And again, I only need 3 letters there, so I could say plane D, C, G. All right, let's practice a little bit. So we have assume that the lines and the planes appear to be parallel, are parallel. So we want some segments parallel to AB. So here's AB. So we're looking for all of the segments that are going basically in the same direction. EF would be parallel to it. And you could call it a segment or a line because it does go on forever and ever. HG is parallel. CD is going to be parallel. Any of them that are going the same direction would be parallel. Okay. Now we want perpendicular to AB. So I'm going to leave AB highlighted in red. I want it perpendicular to AB, but it contains point E. So that would be this segment right here. It's going to form a right angle with AB. It doesn't really look like it on your paper, but you have to remember we're looking at it 3-dimensional perspective. So AE or EA, doesn't matter order that you put them in. What segments are skew to AB? Well, remember, skew has to go a different direction, but it can't intersect it, can't touch it. So AB is kind of going front to back, I think of it. So we need to look for segments that are going up and down. Well, AE goes up and down, but it does not, but it intersects AB, so that's not skew. But if we look over here at DH, DH is going up and down. It's not ever going to cross AB, so it would be skew to AB. CG is also going to be skew to AB. But we have some other ones, other lines that are never going to intersect AB but aren't going to the same direction. They're not parallel. One of them would be EH. And then the last one would be FG. All of those that I just highlighted in red are skew to segment AB. The last one, you just have to name a pair of parallel planes. It actually says 2 pairs of parallel planes. In the whole picture, there's actually 3 pairs of parallel planes. One of them would be maybe this box right here, this side right here, would be parallel to this one over here. And remember, we only need 3 letters to name them. So plane ABF is parallel to plane CDG. That's one pair. Another pair, you could use the top and the bottom of the box. You could say plane ABC is parallel to plane, so here's ABC. That would be this part of the box. And then in green, I'll do the bottom, EFG. And of course, there is one more last pair of parallel planes. You could talk about the front plane and the back plane. I'll do those in yellow. I'm not going to write them down, but I'll just show you, or highlight it in black. This side here, AEH, is going to be parallel to this one in the back. Okay? Next one. In the figure, assume that the lines and planes that appear to be parallel are parallel. name all the planes that intersect GDH. Okay, so we need to highlight that. Here is GDH, but remember the plane includes all of the points on that side. Okay, so what planes intersect it? So what touches it? Well, this one does right here, that side. So we could say plane FGB. The one on the top is going to intersect it because it's going to touch it right there. I could call it plane CDG. And there's one here on the back side. I'm going to have to use a different color or erase these other two. One on the back side, CDL or CDH. That would touch it. And the bottom of the box. Let me erase all of these. This bottom side here would touch it. So I could call it plane HBA. I only need 3 letters. All right, we want some lines parallel to GD. Okay, so here's GD. So we're looking for all of the lines that go in the same direction. Well, BH will be, and CJ, and this one down here, EL. And remember, it could be EL, LE, order doesn't matter in lines. Now we want all of the lines that intersect FA. Okay, here's FA. What things touch FA? Well, JF does. EA intersects it. AB and FG. Those will all intersect that one. All right, we want 2 lines that are skew to CD. All right, so here's CD back here. So we want, and this has many answers, you only have to give 2. We just want something going a different direction that's not going to intersect it. So here's a real easy one right here. It's going up and down. So say GB. Another option, how about this one over here, EL? It's going front to back. It's never going to intersect it, so that would be one. There are others, but you only have to give 2. All right, I'm going to pause this and give you a part 2 video.